All right, I'm Chris Avina, and welcome to another episode of American Outdoor News Podcast. Today, we're here with Alex El Toro Vargas, the up-and-coming, undefeated lightweight, super lightweight contender. Alex, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you've been fighting a long time, and you're a pretty young guy.
Yeah.
You started fighting at 6?
Yeah, 6 years old. I started, just messing around in the basement with my dad. And then, kind of never stopped. It wasn't like consistent, like every year I was just boxing year round. Like I grow up playing other sports and stuff, but I would still box every year from 6 on.
Now, growing up in high school, you were the captain of your football team and wrestling.
Yeah, I was. So, my dad wanted me to play other sports. He didn't want me to just focus on boxing, especially boxing is such a lonely sport. So I got to meet a lot of people, make a lot of friends. And it's just a good experience playing in every sport, doing different things. So I had a lot of fun doing all of these different things at once.
So you're incredibly athletic. Football is completely different than boxing.
Yeah.
Wrestling, I could see it's a one-on-one type of thing. But again, much different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Every sport's different. So
now you worked your way up through the amateur ranks, and I mean, you were like a phenom. You were a 2-time junior Olympic champ, 2-time New York Junior Metro champ, Florida PAL champ. When are you going to be lightweight champ?
I don't know. Hopefully soon. I know my next fight, they wanted to get me to fight for a small title. That way we could start moving up the ranks. And then, that's when you start inching way up and moving up there to get that big shot. But it definitely takes time. I've been pro for 3 years now.
Uh-huh.
And 11 fights is good. That's a good pace. But you just don't realize, like, it goes so fast, but at the same time, it's going so slow, trying to move up the ranks and get that opportunity. So, hopefully, I mean, at this point, it could be a year or two from now if everything goes well and I stay busy. So we'll see.
Now, looking at your record, you're 11-0, 4 KOs.
Right.
To me, that says you're not just talented; you're a technician. You're a pure boxer.
Yeah, more so. I could have had more knockouts coming up in my earlier fights. But like you said, I was like, why take the risk? Like I know I'm winning every round. And that's how I grew up, was more technique, especially my dad, since a kid, he was big on footwork, being smart in the ring, not just going out there and trying to just knock everybody out. So, I think it helped me too, being more of a technician, because I got more experience early on in my career going rounds, where a lot of guys, get their knockouts early on and don't know what it's like to go rounds or be in a tough fight. So I kind of like it. And I look to get a few more knockouts though and get that percentage up.
Now it's funny you say that you're, you want to be smart about your how you approach your fight. And
right.
People have a perception of boxers, but you graduated Cortland.
Yes.
With a teaching degree. You're going for a master's degree.
Yeah.
How do you pick a path of becoming a fighter? I mean, you're a smart guy. You got a lot of things going for you.
I think being a fighter is just something that's in you. It's something like I said, I remember watching old Tyson footage with my dad in the basement, and that was just like, I want to box. I have no reason for it. I was just like, I want to box. But once I got older and I was in high school, both my parents were like, all right, if you want to box, like, you have to go get your college degree, because boxing is not guaranteed. You need something to fall back on. And I can't put all my eggs in one basket trying to do that and just box. So I went to school. I kind of stepped away from boxing completely at that time, because I went up to Cortland I stayed local for my first 2 years. It was tough to fight and do the college work. And then I went away to Cortland for my last 2 years. And once I was upstate, there was nothing up there. It was just, and the workload was so much that I just had to step away from boxing. But I'm glad I did it. I remember my parents telling me, like, you have to go to school. And like, I was did decent in school. I just didn't like it. So I was like, all right, whatever.
Who
But
likes going to school? We like the
yeah,
social aspect, but
yeah, yeah. So I was like, oh man. But yeah, it was definitely worth it.
now you were the Golden Gloves champ too.
I won that my senior year in high school.
Golden Gloves champ in high school. That is amazing. Now, not only were you the Golden Gloves champ, you were the Mark Breland recipient of the what is it? The Mark.
Oh yeah.
Award?
Yeah.
He was a great fighter in his own right.
Yeah, I remember. My main goal coming up as a kid was to win the New York Golden Gloves. I remember going to watch all of the finals at Madison Square Garden, and that was my main goal as a fighter. Like, it wasn't even going pro. It was just like, I want to win this tournament. So I remember, like I said, I was playing football at the time, so I kind of stepped away from boxing a little bit. And then my senior year, football season ended, but I gave up wrestling so I could do the Golden Gloves. And that was my main goal. And fortunately, I won it and won the best fighter of the tournament.
That's amazing. That's a great accomplishment, man. That really is. So you stepped away and you came back in what, 2018?
So, yeah, I stepped away, I think 2014. I started college. I think I did I went back to the Golden Gloves, and I think I went a weight class lower, but I wasn't focused. It was new being in college, the schedule, having class at 5 a.m, then class at 7 p.m. to fit the training in. I just wasn't really that focused, and I ended up losing that year. So that's when I was like, all right, let me just focus on school, because doing both is a lot. So I stepped away from 2014. I think I graduated Cortland 2017, I believe, or 2018, one of those. But then I came back and fought in the Golden Gloves again once I graduated.
Amazing. Now, you're a southpaw.
I'm sorry?
You're a southpaw fighter.
Southpaw, yes.
How does that help or not help you in the ring?
It helps a lot. It's one of my biggest advantages, because there aren't many lefties, and when guys are in the gym sparring regularly every week, they're usually going against a righty.
Yep.
So that's what they're so used to from a little kid on, where I'm so used to going against a righty, and then I used to going against lefties. So a lot of my opponents, like when they get scheduled to fight me, either they won't want to fight me because I'm a lefty, or it's hard to find lefties to give them sparring to prepare for me. So it's such an advantage, because everything comes from the opposite side, where usually, they're used to one thing. Now the punches are coming from completely different directions, moving the other way. But you have to use it to your advantage. So last fight I didn't. I was moving to my left, and that gave him the advantage because I was walking into his right hand. So
all right.
If you use it the right way, it's a big advantage.
Are you more of a counter puncher, or are you the aggressor? It depends on the fight.
Yeah, I like to say I'm adaptive, like, to the fight. Like my last fight, I was counter punching, I think, the entire fight, because the guy was taller. He had a long reach, so I didn't want to just go rush in there. So I waited for him to throw. He was a little bit slower, so I really counted that entire fight. But then, other fights I've been the aggressor for all of the rounds. So it all depends.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Acknowledge some of our sponsors. Underwood Ammo, always a standard of excellence, amazing ammo. Pyro Putty, they're always innovative products. Phone Scope, Pyro Putty, they're always coming up with new stuff. Great equipment to have for the outdoors, and hunt of a lifetime. And we're going to hear from them now.
We love our children. We protect them. We guide them. We prepare them for life in the world. With all that we do, from deep in our hearts, we cannot control all things. Life-threatening illnesses and disabilities affect far too many of our children each year. While we cannot change the circumstance, we can make dreams come true. Dreams to provide hope, to provide spiritual healing and strength, to provide moments of happiness and relief in the hardest of times. We can give a glimmer of light and hope in a time of darkness and despair. Join huntofalifetime.org to help make dreams come true, to provide hope for children with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Hunt of a Lifetime is a nonprofit organization fulfilling dreams for hunting and fishing trips to youth 21 and under with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Visit huntofalifetime.org to learn how you can make a difference.
Okay, and we're back. So 11 fights.
Yeah.
Who was your most difficult opponent and why?
Let's see. It was definitely my 7th fight. I fought. So my first 5 fights were all in Long Island, in my hometown. And then my 6th fight, I traveled to Florida to fight their hometown guy who was 6-0, and I was 6-0 as well. And it was my first. It was supposed to be my first televised fight on Telemundo. And it was just the guy. I mean, the guy I fought was extremely tough, hit very hard. But it was just the whole situation around it. The traveling, I wasn't used to. We fought in a venue with no spectators because this was when COVID was going on.
Oh,
so it was
wow.
in August of 2020. So there were no spectators, which was very weird. Just a bunch of cameras, and it was going to be on TV. And then with COVID going on, it was kind of all a mess, like the schedule and stuff, how they're going to get people there without having too many people there at once. So they ended up getting me to the venue late. And I remember they came into the back and I sat down, getting focused. And then they were like, you have 5 minutes to get ready or the fight's off.
Wow.
So I remember I just threw my stuff on and just walked into the ring cold. And that whole fight, I really don't remember a lot of it because I was constantly trying to get going. It was just so much going on. And the guy I fought was extremely tough being on TV. So all around, I mean, probably my toughest opponent, and the situation around it for the both of us was tough.
Is it more difficult to fight with no crowd?
Yeah, I thought it was very very weird. You can feed off the crowd, like being in someone else's hometown. A lot of guys that come to fight me, they use that to their advantage in a way because they're like, I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
This guy's in front of his hometown. And then when I fight in front of my people, it's more like I feel more pressure. But being in front of nobody is just, I remember walking into the venue and there was a fight going on already. And you could just hear every punch being landed. I mean, it sounded like gunshots because you used to the crowd like kind of drowning it out and everything, all the commotion, the chants, you can't really hear it. And then it made me realize like, wow, these gloves are really small. They do really hurt. And then you hear everything being landed. So you don't know how the judges are taking that, whether it's hitting your arm or your face. And you could hear, what's the weirdest part is you could hear both corners giving instructions. So I could hear exactly what his corner wanted him to do, and he could hear exactly what my corner wanted me to do. And usually you can't hear that much because it's so loud.
Yeah, with the
but
crowd.
that was probably the weirdest part because I was like, do I do it now since they're telling me to do it? And he could hear it. So it was definitely weird. It was too quiet. I didn't like it, and I'd rather fight in front of a lot of people.
Now, the boxing today, do you find the level of skill, the level of talent a lot different than when you were growing up fighting with, watching like Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Mike Tyson? How has boxing changed since then?
I think the skill level, I mean, maybe it went up a little bit skill level wise, just, with everything nowadays, you have so much science going into
Training,
strength training.
technology, and
Yeah, now everything's coming down to science on how to throw a punch, and we have much more to use, where it was so old school. It was just like you go run, you lift weights, you don't even know how to do it kind of thing. But I think boxing back then, just the guys were so much mentally tougher. Like everyone fought each other. The best fought the best. There was no there's not everything that's going on now is there's so many fights not happening that should be happening that everyone would watch just because of whatever money or different promoters, and then now you have YouTubers fighting.
yep.
Where back in the day it was just the best fought the best. I mean, Hagler, Leonard, Hearns, they all fought each other. It was no problem. That they wanted to be the best, and nowadays it's not like that, and it's sad, to be honest.
Hagler Hearns, best 4 rounds I've ever seen in boxing.
Yeah, and they fought. There was no fear. They didn't care about losing, and that's the thing now. Too many fighters want to hold on to their perfect record, which I get to an extent, but they have the fear of losing it. Like, I don't have a fear of losing. I'd rather go out there, fight my best, and if he beats me, he beats me. But I know I went out there for my best, prepared, and fought someone that is good instead of, kind of wanting to, just take the easy route.
Total warrior.
Yeah. I don't want any regrets, I don't want to finish fighting because it all comes to an end one day and be like, oh, well, I didn't take any chances. That's what boxing's about. That's what life's about. You have to take chances, see what you're really capable of.
You don't put it out there, you don't know what you got. And we saw that in the Hagler Hearns fight. They left it all out in the ring, and it could have went either way. Best fight I've ever seen.
Yeah, and everybody has respect for the both of them just because they fought each other and how they fought each other. So
it didn't matter who won that fight.
Exactly. So I wish that would happen more often now, but we'll see.
Who's I know we had this conversation. Who's your favorite fighter of all time?
All time, Mike Tyson, by far.
Hands down.
I don't think there will ever be another Mike Tyson, ever. I mean, he was just different. There will never be another one.
He had so many fights won before he even stepped in the ring.
Yeah,
that intimidation factor was incredible.
Oh yeah. And he's a really cool. I remember I met him one time. He was just such a cool guy. He was so nice to me. I remember he started talking to me because he saw my Golden Gloves chain, and he was the one telling me to turn pro. Have the right people around you. He told me finish school, all of that. So it was pretty cool seeing my idol tell me that. I remember being shell shocked. I'm like, man, my idol's telling me, go finish school, and go be great. Don't have any fear, and just make sure you have the right people around you, which is very true. And him, of all people, would know, what the people around him did to him. So
he had the right people around him in the beginning, and at the end.
Yeah.
All went down the toilet.
Yep. So.
Yeah. So what's next for you? When's your next fight?
I know I was supposed to be the main event at the Paramount, which is in Huntington.
Yeah, I know where it is.
November 11th. But it's actually tough because I'm going through a job process right now, and I really can't commit to the fight yet until I hear more on what's next. So that's the tough part for me. I always stay in shape, always stay ready, but I'm still waiting on a definite date I could get back, or what's going on with this situation to get back in the ring.
Well, if you're going to be at the Paramount, I'll be there because it's a whole 3 minutes from my house.
Yeah. It's a great time. We like I said, we sell it out, and then we have a nice little after party down the road at Portofino's Pizzeria, and we all just hang out, have a good time there.
Sure, I know where Portofino's is.
Yeah. So it's a good night.
Now, how long before? How many fights do you think it'll be before you're actually offered a title shot?
I could see maybe around 16 fights.
So you're not 16. That far off.
No, it's at this point, once you pass 10, number 10, that's when everything starts moving very fast. You start moving up the rankings a lot faster. You start getting tested a lot more.
Mhm.
So yeah, it could be 16. It could be, you know, they could call me. That's the thing. You never know. They could call me at 14 fights and be like, hey, you have a maybe a smaller opportunity, but it'll be on ESPN or something, and you know that's when you jump on it. So you don't know. It's you could get a call randomly, and it could be sooner than later.
Well, you're definitely on their radar at 11-0. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're getting there.
So where do you train?
Well, I travel to the city a lot with my dad, because that's where the best gyms are, the best sparring is. So, you know, when I'm preparing for a fight, I go out there 3 times a week. I'm sparring with, I mean, numerous world champions, present world champions, past world champions, top contenders. So, you know, if that's what's going to make you better and that's where you get the best work, we make the travel happen. So it's not too bad once you get the routine going. You know, get up, eat your breakfast, go train, come home from the city, rest up a little bit, train again, and then it's not too bad. But we're probably opening up our own gym again somewhere in Deer Park soon. So that'll be nice to be able to train out here more, just hitting the bag wise, but going to the city I'll always do for sparring.
Who's the toughest champ, past or present, that you sparred with?
Oh man, let's see. Definitely Chris Algieri is one of them. I've been sparring him for years. I'm actually very close with him now. Richard Comey, the guy for a lightweight. I mean, I think he's 28-2 and has like 26 knockouts. So
Wow.
his power is unreal for someone his size, and he's a huge lightweight. Paul Malignaggi. I've been at all of those guys at the level are just tough, and you learn something different from every single one of them.
That's awesome to hear. All right. Well, I appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you at the Paramount because I am going to be at that fight. And
Yeah, hopefully.
where can we find you?
You can find me on. Yeah, I don't have a website. I just Instagram at Alex Vargas 631, and I'm on Facebook at Alex Vargas.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time. This will be up later today. Follow Alex on his social media, and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.